Lunce's list, Lunce's list, oh. What is this, Lunce's list, Lunce's list, oh. Lunce's list is fine, Lunce's list is fine, Lunce's list is fine, Lunce's list is fine.
John, the task is this. Profile the 5 fight scenes from movies prior to 2024 that you truly love. I apologize. The Roadhouse remake cannot touch this list. I know that upsets you.
I hate that. Yeah. Here's the thing. So I a lot of times I'll come up with my list and I'm like, I'm sure I'm forgetting something. Let me go look up and see, hey, did I forget this one? Did I forget this one? Whenever I look up best fights, it's always movies I have never seen. Like, let's go to Old Boy, or let's go to, I can't name anything. That's just one that popped up a bunch. But there's a bunch of movies. Honestly,
The Raid.
They Live. That's one. They Live got mentioned a million times, which I've never seen that movie. I know what it is, but
You've never seen They Live?
I've never seen They Live.
I think it's John Carpenter's best, personally. Oh, I just insulted Tim because he's a big fan of The Thing and also the original Halloween.
I was about to say.
Did he do Big Trouble in Little China?
Just Halloween is at the top of the John Carpenter list for me.
Halloween,
Tyler.
we were just talking about our Letterboxd top 4, which is like the thing now. They go ask all these celebrities, and we literally talking about that, of which Halloween is one of Tim's.
It's one of my top 4 movies ever
You
made.
said John Carpenter. I don't even think anything but Halloween first in my mind, and
It's
then go to
fine.
other things.
Tyler, you're good.
I thought you had called the Thing one of John Carpenter's greatest movies one day.
I have no doubt that The Thing is one of John Carpenter's greatest movies. For me, it's Halloween, and then everything else is just a big drop off, and then everything else can be thrown in the same thing. But we both agree that They Live is a wonderful film. Can we just?
Underrated.
Don't let Lunsford tear us apart, okay?
I just said I haven't seen it. I didn't
What
say it
we
was
have
bad.
is special, Tyler, and you don't let him, okay? I don't want you every other weekend. I want you every day, okay?
Anyway, I haven't seen a lot of these movies that involve, the great like Chinese fighters. Honestly, the most I've seen of that is probably Rush Hour.
Oh, my.
That's just not my style of movie.
Good movie, though.
The old kung fu movies, they just don't really do it for me. So I know there's a ton of those out there that you could pick from. This is more, I guess, Americanized movies that I'm going to choose from here. Also, I'm not a big. I didn't go through and say like, hey, what's the best Rocky fight? Like,
That's a shame. I think Rocky Fight deserves to be in here.
I'm not a huge Rocky fan. I like the Creed series overall more than I like the Rocky series, but I'm just not big on really any of those. Plus, I think full choreographed fights as opposed to you're just in the ring. There's a lot more to be
Is
said
your
for a
goal
lot
to
of
get
those.
everybody to hate you before the list, or is it? I mean,
Yeah, because once I do the list, if then y'all hate me, it's like Anyway.
Okay, let's start with number 5
Also,
before
I'm
we
not,
start fighting.
I'm not including fights from the same movie, so if I have
Good.
one, then I'll give an honorable mention for some other stuff.
Good, I like that. Okay. Whew, John really talked himself into almost a total knockout there.
Oh, God. Jeez. Oof.
Rocky, do you have like a favorite fight sequence from a movie? And
Tong Po, and when I was growing up, I was a huge Van Damme fan. Kickboxer 1, the original Tong Po, where
is that your favorite Van Damme movie?
A Street Fighter?
never saw. I gave up. I think Kickboxer was the last one. I saw Cyborg and
Bloodsport?
Bloodsport's
Bloodsport
great.
was great. Double Impact was like he played
Autumn
2 characters. Double Impact.
I think we've still yet to play with Jean-Claude Van Damme in the Mortal Kombat 1.
No, well, because nobody wants. It's Johnny Cage, right?
Johnny
Yeah,
Cage.
nobody
Johnny
wants to play
Johnny
Johnny
Cage.
He's so bad.
Not good with Johnny Cage. All right.
Anyway,
Number
all right.
5, Morpheus versus Neo. I think I slept during this part, John.
Oh, this is the first introduction. Yeah, this is the first introduction to what fighting in the Matrix could be. That ultimately ended up expanding from there. I think the fight in the second Matrix movie, The Matrix Reloaded, when he fights all of the Merovingians goons in like the castle, I think that's a really well choreographed fight as well, and has more of the stopping bullets in my hand, I'm jumping up and down, all that kind of stuff. But this is one that kind of, hey, this is the world we're setting up for the Matrix. I thought it was a really good fight, and it's kind of, your introduction to what these characters ultimately are going to be. I think it's a really, really solid fight.
I agree with John.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
It's a
Did you
good.
like the Matrix overall?
Yep. I love the Matrix.
Did you like the second, third one?
They were okay, but the original Matrix was awesome. It was so original, but I would take that over. But I did not see the Revolutions, the newest one where he's got long hair.
It's worth watching one time.
Yep.
Just because you've seen the rest of them.
Yep. The Matrix 1 is amazing.
I cannot
It's
fake
a good fight, too.
I can't fake enthusiasm for the Matrix. I'm not a Matrix fan. I think it's one of the most overrated movies ever made. It just does not do it for me. I don't think it holds up, et cetera, et cetera. I went and saw it in the 2023 theatrical re-release, and I never fall asleep in movies. I promise. I fell asleep in that one because I just don't like The Matrix. I can't get into it. The video game was trash.
Enter the Matrix?
Enter the Matrix was
Enter
good.
the Matrix was incredible.
Oh, it was incredible.
Should have taken the blue pill.
I didn't like it.
The Matrix Online wasn't very good. But anyway, this fight also redone in the latest Matrix, although with...
And it's a dead franchise because of what was mentioned with the last one. And anyway, I can't get into it.
I think at some point it'll have some legs and the Wachowskis would need some money or something, but...
Let's go with number 4. Number 4 on Lunce's list. I know I'm in the minority. I know people absolutely love The Matrix. It is one of those tentpole films for a lot of people, and I just can't get into it. Don't know what's wrong with me. Number 4.
Winter Soldier.
Elevator. Oh, okay.
I'm out.
Okay. Now this one I can get behind. This is a good fight sequence. Happens in an elevator. By the way, we're gonna have to figure out the camera situation. It's not you.
It is me.
It is you. But I mean, number 4, Winter Soldier elevator fight. Number 5, Morpheus versus Neo. But
yeah, this is a good one. I mean, I love the whole, hey, before we get started, does anybody want to get out thing? As slowly but surely all the people are coming in. It's really well done. Yeah, I don't know. This is up there for me. Now, there's a lot you could pull from the Avengers. I actually went, don't know why. We played Rocket League till like 3 a.m. Saturday night and into Sunday morning.
We won 6 straight games, by the way.
Hell yeah.
We did. We did
Ended
pretty
up
good.
finishing 8-4. But we won 6 straight in that 8-4.
Wow.
We felt like Gus Malzahn for a hot minute.
Well, that's good for you. That's good stuff.
But, you know, for some reason, one of my favorite pastimes now is to go and watch audience reactions to all the big stuff that happens in Marvel, the Endgame, you know, on your left, all that kind of stuff. And ended up on this, surprisingly enough. And I don't even know if you'd sent me my list yet. But this is a great scene. This is right after the fight's over, and he kicks his shield up and walks out. I think, you know, Captain America versus Thanos when he first gets the hammer, a little more of an individual, apart from Endgame if you wanted to pick that. And then also Cap and Bucky in Civil War versus Iron Man.
We get what I love is we also get the elevator sequence in Endgame
Yes.
with the Hail Hydra thing.
Right.
Which I thought was genius when I saw it in the theater for the first time.
That wasn't Endgame. Yeah.
That was Endgame when they're doing all the time travel and all this stuff. Thought that was absolutely ingenious. Even though,
really good scene.
let me see, that was not, it wasn't the same elevator though, right? Because this was the one coming down from Stark Tower.
So yeah, this one has. I can't remember the character's name, but there's a guy during the elevator fight scene who's not in there.
Yeah.
That is like watching on the security camera who's trying to control things to get the elevator stop and everything. He's involved. That's the one he says Hail Hydra to. Yeah. So I don't know.
It happened in an elevator, but it was two totally different things.
Yeah, same kind of thing. But anyway.
But it was a callback to that. Let's be honest.
It was. Good fight, though.
All right, let's move on to number 3 of Lunce's list. Best movie fights is what we're looking for here. Most memorable, ones that John has the most affinity for, one that John makes the argument are awesome, however you want to phrase it.
Oh, I know where this is going. The Duel of the Fates from Phantom Menace.
I thought you hated this fight sequence. You have had grievances with this fight sequence. This is correct that this should be on here.
Is this Darth Maul?
This
Yes.
is the
So
Darth Maul fight.
Were they waiting in the waiting room?
This could be number 1. But I don't even know what brought it up one day. My complaint with this fight and why it's number 3 and not number 1 is I hate the force fields at the end.
Yes.
The tension that it brings does not even remotely match the intensity of the fight. And it was solely there as a plot device for Qui-Gon Jinn to get got, and that's pretty much it.
I referenced the Phantom Menace earlier in today's episode. I seem to be doing that more and more where I reference a film that makes Lunce's list. But the best part of The Phantom Menace, episode 1, The Phantom Menace, the best part by far.
Pod racing.
No, it's this fight.
Jar
It's
Jar.
this fight. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. It's fantastic. The music, that music is what I think is the best single piece of music from the prequels, and it's not even close.
It is.
And I don't have a problem with the force field slowing things down and making it a little bit more paced because remember, there's a bunch of other scenes happening while this fight is happening as well.
For Darth Maul to be fully badass, to me, he should have won the 1v2 and killed Qui-Gon Jinn, that then Obi-Wan can win the fight after that. It shouldn't have been, we're going to stop. Oh, it's 1v1 now. You're dead. Okay, now let's fight Obi-Wan. That's what my biggest complaint with it. And whatever brought it up before, that was what I was bringing up. That's my one complaint with it, or else it could be number one.
Brock has one that I'm sure you would love to have on your list of Peter Griffin versus the chicken.
Hate it.
Which one?
Hate it.
There's a lot of them.
Automatic fast forward for me.
The original one on Y2K or what?
I think that's my favorite part of Family Guy. Is
goes on too long.
Peter versus the chicken.
The only thing I dislike about it is you can tell it was funny the first couple of times, but it got to a point where, hey, we only have 20 minutes of content for a 22-minute episode. We got to fill the other 2 minutes. Hey, chicken fight. That's it. There's a few things that are go-to. That Conway Twitty song, stuff like that are go-tos in Family Guy to kill time.
The Conway Twitty bit's so good.
Oh, I still like it all. It's just you can tell they ran out of runway on this one.
I think it's time for number 2 on Lunce's list.
Brock is also asking what the Peter Griffin versus the chicken is ripped from at 7.5 minutes long. It's most likely going to be They Live.
Yep.
That's a long street fight.
One of John Carpenter's best.
Halloween 2?
I don't even know why we have a camera on John because I can't see a thing and I don't think anybody else can either.
Kids in the hallway.
Inception hallway scene.
Is that with Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Hallway
Yeah,
scene.
that scene,
It is.
where the floor keeps moving.
So the best part of this is, it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt versus some goons coming after him from, I just call them goons, but they're
goons.
dream people coming after him. But
it's a better version of The Matrix than The Matrix.
It definitely takes from The Matrix, I think, a little bit there. But the sequencing of it so that's in the second dream level. The first dream level is where the guy who's driving the van is trying to run away, and he ends up flipping the car over, which makes the hallway turn and everything. The way it's shot was really good. I forgot to put a picture of.
And he had to pee in his dream, so it's raining.
Yeah. So this is it being shot there. It's the raining and everything. It's a really well shot scene. It's cool how he takes them and wraps them all up after the fact and puts them in the elevator and lets it drop to wake them up. Everything about Inception from the building the dream levels is really cool. And then this being the fight that really sticks out, because third dream level, they're basically just shooting at each other. And first dream level, they're basically just shooting at each other. This is where it gets to more hand-to-hand combat when it comes to fighting in what is a crazy universe that they're in.
I always love when you give Christopher Nolan some love. I know you are a fan of a lot of films that he has done. And so I'm not going to be too harsh on this, but
just a little bit.
How you have the Inception hallway fight above Duel of the Fates blows my mind.
No force fields.
Blows my mind.
They just fight. They don't have to stop and stare at each other for a little bit and be like, I'm going to get you, dude.
But that's
no,
good.
You're not.
It builds character. It builds
Squirting
aggression.
Powerade in their mouth.
And the fact that Darth Maul kills Qui-Gon.
Taking a towel.
Spoiler.
Gosh.
But how much cooler would it have been if he had won the 1v2?
I would love. They're doing an episode 1 re-release.
Yes.
Which I attended an episode 1 re-release about a decade ago. And man, it was a miserable experience. I was like, oh, I forgot how this movie is. It's so flat, not good. Really sounds awful at certain parts with Jar Jar and all of that. But I wish I could just see a couple of scenes on the big screen and it just be like a good 20-minute supercut instead of, and the pod racing scene would be part of that.
Basically pod racing and Duel of the Fates.
Pod racing, Duel of the Fates.
That's about it.
That's about it.
That's it.
You see, I'll throw a little bit of the overall war that they're fighting with the machines, coming over the hill and all that kind of stuff. I'll throw a little bit of that in there just from a scale perspective. But
that's about it. But those two scenes are really good. I need to just watch it on YouTube. All right, let's go to number 1 on Lunce's list. Best movie fight according to John. Speaking of hallways, if you're looking for some new ones in your life, Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate is who I would recommend when looking for that new place to call home. Remember our friend with Location Real Estate. That's Jim Wilson, still an active member of the U.S. military. Simply put, a good guy who doesn't take shortcuts when it comes to home buying. Able to help you secure the American dream of finding your perfect home. Cares deeply about making sure you're given all the information needed during the biggest purchase of your life. Jim loves making his clients happy. He's full of energy, looking to accomplish those real estate goals that you have put in place. Not only during the home buying or selling experience is Jim available, but every day after. He's an advocate for you and your interests, not some random corporation. Whether you're buying or selling, contact our friend, Realtor Jim Wilson with Location Real Estate, 205-329-4758. That's 329-4758, or visit jimwilson.locationre.com. All right, number one.
All right, so I only have Saving Private Ryan written. I don't want to write the whole thing out. This is a fight from Saving Private Ryan, which you know is my favorite war movie and is up there in general. So this is a fight between Adam Goldberg's character and a German soldier, and I'll try to set the scene. And the picture I found, it's hard to find a really good picture that I want to actually put on the show because there's some blood in it. All right, so this is not him. This is the dude in the hallway after the fact. So he's fighting. It's two American soldiers sitting there. It's Adam Goldberg, and I don't remember who the other one is. And they hear somebody walking up the stairs, and they're like in a room. And you know how like in Return of the Jedi, during the final lightsaber battle, you can see the whole war happening outside the window of them? This is two people sitting there, and they hear Germans walking up the steps, and you can see through a busted hole in the house they're in, or the building they're in, the entire war happening kind of outside of them. And so this is more of a closed-in situation. And they hear somebody walking up the steps, they fire into the wall, and you see just blood splattered onto the floor out that they killed a German soldier that was walking up the stairs. And then they hear another noise, and then guns fire through them and kills the other guy. Well, this guy's laying on the floor, bleeding out. He had been shot in the neck. I'm not trying to get too graphic, but that's just what happened. And then Adam Goldberg's character ends up fighting with the other soldier with a knife, and they're going back and forth. And it's the first time for me, because I would have been much younger when this movie came out, that like I felt war in a movie.
Yeah.
That I was like, I get it, the intensity of a movie like this. And it's the best war movie to a lot of people for a reason. But then Jeremy Davies is the guy that's on the screen right now. I can't remember now if he was like a translator or something, but he wasn't a combat guy. And he's walking up the stairs, and he can tell that there's a fight going on upstairs, and he freaks out, starts crying because he's like, I can't deal with this. I'm not a combat person. And the German soldier ends up winning the fight, stabbing Adam Goldberg, walking down. He just looks at him like, you're crying. I'm not going to do anything to you. Like, you're already mentally wrecked, and just walks off and just leaves him by. It's an incredibly shot scene. It's an incredible scene from the stakes of it, the emotion of it, the intensity of it. And it's one thing, when I think of Saving Private Ryan, this is one of the first things I think of every single time.
Remember full circle, though, what Upham did, if I remember correctly, that particular German soldier, they were making him dig his own grave.
They ended up letting him go.
And Upham said, like, we need to let him go, and then he ended up killing Adam Goldberg. So he was a coward, didn't try to help. He was on the bottom of the staircase saying, that was fully on me.
But I recommend looking up, I won't play it, like I said, it's pretty bloody, but Saving Private Ryan stabbing scene. It's maybe one of the most intense, just small scale things in what obviously is a much grander scale war that's happening.
And I want to be clear, I put some parameters on you with this because I wasn't looking for most epic battle scenes, which Saving Private Ryan would have been a part of that. But I was asking for fights, and I was asking for more close combat, interpersonal, 1 versus 2, 1 versus a lot of people, but the one central character being the focus. I was looking for more intimate fights here, and I don't think you can get more intimate than what we saw there at the number 1 spot.
One I had on a list that I took off was the Osaka Continental fight scene from John Wick 4, because it's not just John Wick, it's a lot of people versus a lot of people. It ultimately boils down to they're there for a reason, which is John Wick, but I took it off. But it's a really good scene, and it's probably the best scene since I guess it was a nightclub scene where they went and like Reek was in the hot tub and everything in the first movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like that was really cool from like the neon standpoint and everything. This then took it up to another level in that one. Although I was not as big a fan of John Wick 4 as everybody else was. I like that aspect of it. I had Bane versus Batman in there only because it's the first time we saw Batman lose.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Not that.
I can't take that picture
Sorry,
seriously.
I forgot to change it.
Yeah, I
You should've
know.
told me
I didn't want to leave it up the whole
Just say change it.
No, I did say change it, and you changed it. I'm sorry, but it's the Pittsburgh thing that just
Pittsburgh.
triggered me, not the picture.
The boys are fighting.
You give this nice speech about why this is number 1, and it's such a, it hits the heart, and then he does the old Pittsburgh thing from Ryan Brown.
Anyway, it's the first time we saw Batman lose, and so I feel like that was an important, even though it wasn't a crazy fight. It's the first time we saw Batman lose, so it had an effect when Batman gets his back broken and
You
everything.
think darkness is your ally?
I was born in it.
Both better than Brown.
I was gonna bring that thing home, and then he went a little bit brown at the end. That's all I'll say.
Sorry.
Still better than Brown, but yeah, not as good as that. And then I really like the Mission Impossible bathroom scene with Henry Cavill, Tom Cruise versus kind of the random assassin. That was another honorable mention I thought about throwing.
One of the best fight scenes to ever take place inside of a bathroom.
Yeah.
I would argue Austin Powers is number one.
That was a good one.
You know I'm right. I mean, no one's gonna. Everybody's like, well, what would be number one on
Who
this
does number
list?
2 work for?
Yeah.
Beat me to it.
Who does he work for? Number 2.
Every time I ever see a charm bracelet, I always think of the Lucky Charms dude. Like, my wife randomly got one the other day that had like a cross and all this like other nice stuff on it. And I was like, it's like the Lucky Charms dude from Austin Powers.
It's a television commercial.
So funny.